Well, Rebecca, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you for taking a minute out for the show today. I appreciate it.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thanks, Joe.
Me too, absolutely. So, before we get into your life of coaching and speaking and teaching, I want to begin with this. 6 years ago, this pandemic was changing so much about our lives. We haven't really talked about it a lot, but how did you get through that COVID era and how has it affected the way that you work and live today?
Wow, I love this question. So if I took you back to that time, March 2020, where I was at in my life, I had a 9-month-old daughter, was living in the suburbs, working. I was on maternity leave, but working in healthcare. And um, yeah, it really shook things up for me. My life today looks very different, and I attribute a lot of the shifts that happened through the last 6 years to that point in time. And it's interesting. At the time, I was really fascinated by the world of organizational change management, and almost looked at the pandemic as like, oh wow, what a like wild time to be in this area of practice as people are starting to shift to working remotely, and we're starting to see all these things that we had constructed our assumptions on
Hmm?
around, like, this is what we can assume and trust is in place structurally. It all kind of vanished in a very rapid way, which was unsettling for a lot of folks, myself included. But there was also this like seed of opportunity and potential in it. And for me, getting through that time, a lot of it, I think, was leaning on some of the practices that I had around mindfulness and self-care, and being able to find that which is kind of steady in times of chaos and uncertainty, which a lot of which is, what we can come back to in the present moment, our breath. Nature was a refuge for me during those times, and also trusting in this like quality of impermanence. Like, this won't be the case forever, but also we don't know. So like, let's just accept what's here today and do the best with what we have, and embrace the unknown in a way. Um, but yeah, it really led me to question, and my partner and I, to question a lot of the assumptions that we had around how we were living our lives. So we were living in the suburbs, a bit removed from our family, and had a young daughter. And then suddenly it was very normalized to work remotely. So today I live in the country on 30 acres of land, and I work remotely most of the time, largely because of what became possible through the pandemic. And that this major assumption I had around needing to be in the city to be effective in my work was like thrown out the window overnight. So it opened up a lot of possibility for me and my family to really like reimagine what we wanted based around what was most important to us.
It's interesting because everybody kept talking about getting back to normal during that time,
Mm,
and then it was modified to the new normal. But I mean, that's just where the human brain goes to. We want what we're used to. But I think, as I was listening to your answer, that that time period did usher in so many good things. I mean, like even with like telehealth, like, I have my sons on the spectrum and we would have to get ready and load up and all this anticipation and all of this time and gas spent. And he would only be in the room for a brief fraction of time and I would do it. So now it's all reversed. There's no anxiety. He gets to pop in and then I get to take over. There's no travel. And the thing about telehealth now is that they're punctual. You would go in their office and wait for a long time. And now with that, so there was all of those little myopic moments that just added up to things that I think were really good and congruent for humans to change. We should change,
totally.
you know?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Um, and that's what you're doing as a coach. And I want to get into everything that you're doing. So I'm going to put you in front of 13-year-olds. It's career day. And one of the kids wants you to synthesize your day job to make sense to their brains. How do you explain your job?
Oh, yes. I love this challenge. So the essence of my work is really helping people change from the inside out. So not just making the change that we see on the surface of the new job or the, success in whatever aspect of life, but helping them change the what I refer to as sort of like the inner hardware of their leadership so that they can more effectively and sustainably um, change the way that they're showing up in the world. What this looks like in practice is often folks will come to me. They are living the life and leading in the role that they had always envisioned, but they're really tired or they're feeling disconnected in some way from their work, or they sense that there's like another level of leadership that's possible for them, and they're not quite sure how to get there because they've already made all those outer moves that they see as being possible for them. So, our work together is often the work of learning first to slow down and to notice more of their inner emotions, their sensations in their body, things like that, how they connect to life. And then also noticing how they, noticing what they care deeply about and really how to tap into that and how their behaviors on a daily basis might get in the way. Um, so yeah, I think the core way to explain that to, at career days, I help people change. I help people overcome the, whether that it's a quality of people pleasing or a quality of perfectionism or a quality of control, wanting control, right? In uncontrollable circumstances like COVID, helping them become more agile and adaptable in their way of being in service of where they want to take their lives next.
It almost seems like it's occupational meditation. You
I
know,
love that framing.
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
it's like it's there's that saying that, they always talk about it with love, like it's always right in front of you.
Hmm.
That whole idea of anything, whether it's relational or it's job or dreams, it's like it's usually right in front of you.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like people just get so buried from the time that we're told we have all these societal expectations like the suburbs and you have a timeline of when you're supposed to have kids and do all these things. And we all follow this kind of somewhat script, but it all gets buried under what we really want. And it's like you're allowing the conscious and subconscious to wake up to be cognizant of what they really want.
Yes, yeah, to be cognizant of what they really want and to have the inner freedom to be able to move towards that, which
Sure.
is, I would say, like 95% of it. There's the big question of what do I want, which is hard for people to answer
Yeah.
many times when they're really honest, like what do I really want?
Hmm.
Can be a difficult question. But then the how do I free myself from the patterns and the even like, the expectations of
Yeah.
who I need to be so that I can move towards that which I'm really desiring and feeling enlivened by,
Yeah.
which is courageous work.
Oh yeah, for sure. So what did you want to be when you were at that career day age, like 12 or 13 years old? What was your dream job?
You know what? I grew up in a family where um, money was not abundant. So I wanted to be basically anything that would be financially sustainable and feel like success. I was the first in my family to go to university, so it was sort of this I think I wanted to be something that would make my family proud
Yeah.
and would allow me to be successful. So I didn't take a lot of time to really look within myself to what I wanted to be in a genuine way until I was quite a ways into my career. And I have quite the like winding career path that brought me to where I am. But I think that might be part of the reason I care so deeply about this work that I do today is I started out quite disconnected from my own sense of what my gifts were and what I really wanted to contribute to the world, and always felt like I was lacking that until I got really deliberate about turning towards those questions.
So, who's been your hero? Who's been that inspirational force that's allowed you to navigate and not only to find your way, but to help others find their way as well? Who has that been for you?
Hmm. I've had several, and what was fascinating to me was earlier in my career when I started exploring what I'll refer to as like inner work, inner development. I was really looking around me at the successful role models in my space, and none of them, I didn't look to any of them and say, that's my hero. Like, I want to be like that. I want to grow into that type of person, that type of lifestyle. And that was a bit of a red flag for me that I might not be on the right path, right? But I began several years back, I started training as a yoga teacher. And it was then that I started finding some of those heroes were more folks who were teaching yoga and leading spiritual retreats and things like that, and just had this like light in their eyes that made me go, oh, there's something here. You're
Mhm.
really like in your aliveness in your work, and I want to know more. And there was this wisdom within them as well. And this honesty, this like, I'm a human and I'm going to tell you about my experiences from a very deeply human perspective that I really admired. So I've had some yoga teachers along my path who really became those what you refer to as heroes to me, who I started to look to and say, oh, that's someone I want to spend more time with and learn more from, and has really informed my approach to life and to work and to all the things.
So, if you could meet anybody on the planet, you just talked about inspirational people that you've discovered in your life, but if you can meet anybody on the planet and spend a little time with them and get an inside view of like how they do what they do, ask some questions, who would you love to meet?
Hmm. If you asked me this question at different points in my journey, I'd have different responses
Yeah.
because of some of the work that I'm leaning towards doing in the world right now. And I was just hearing um, a podcast interview with Brene Brown where she spoke about, you know, her journey and some of what she's faced with expectations and, being so visible and thought leadership and the nature of the work that she does. I think at this point, I would be so fascinated to sit down with someone like her who
Yeah.
has, gone down this path of sharing publicly work that she deeply cares about and is passionate about, and um, dealing with the challenges that come with visibility as well. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot I could learn from someone like that,
Yeah.
and also, navigating this strange world of the internet and social media and all of these things, and being purpose-led and staying in that place while there's all the noise that's out there. How do you sustain your own sense of center and well-being in the midst of all of that? I feel like someone who is really like been there to the extreme could have a lot of wisdom to share.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and speaking of noise around you, you're entering a world with your clients that you're trying to slow that noise down, and getting
Yes.
involved with the human mind can lead you down murky avenues. How do you stay focused with so many people depending on you to be the compass needle and then to take care of your soul and your life and everything? Every day, what is that energy for you to do it at a high level?
Hmm. It's, it's a remembering of the, yeah, the energetic um, space I need to be in to best serve the people I serve. I have a very spacious calendar and I keep it that way on purpose. And I get the question as a business owner, from the average person, they'll say, "How's business? Are you busy?" And I will say, "No." And I'm not in this line of work to be busy.
Yeah.
If I ever get to a point where I'm back to back to back, that's not a good thing. It's not going to allow me to be showing up at the best for the work that I do. I need space for thought. I need space for digestion of that which comes my way. So it's interesting. I mentioned the home that I'm in is fairly new. We just built it. And it feels like it's such an integral part of my work because it's the space where I can go between calls and go for a walk in nature, or I can even look out the window here and see a forest full of trees and have these little nourishing moments in between. I think it's really the biggest piece, and this is where I speak about the inner work that supports the outer work, is I have had to build my capacity to be with this level of spaciousness. It is not comfortable. I love being busy. I love being able to escape my thoughts and worries by just diving into tasks and distraction from time to time. And I recognize it's actually often for me more challenging to do nothing than to stay occupied by the little task or something like that. So it's an ongoing practice
Yeah.
and something that's, it's that, that knowing that I desire that spaciousness and that's what serves my work is like 5% of it. And then the 95% is noticing when I have this sense of urgency that comes up in my body that says, "Oh no, but you have to respond to these emails, or you need to get on 27 more podcasts this month," or something like that. And just go like, "No, we're coming back to that intention of spaciousness and supporting my mind and my nervous system and coming back to that over and over and over again."
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight, you ran into the 18-year-old version of you ready to go out into the world, and you walk in right now and there's a film projector and you click play and there's a 60-second highlight reel of this life that you've lived, the choices you made, would that young version of you believe your life turned out this way?
Oh my goodness, that young version of me would probably have their mind blown in some ways. Um, because I don't think that version of me could even comprehend that a life and career like the one I have exists. I didn't know that executive coaching was a thing when I was 18.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it would have been possible to work from home most of the time and balance that with also at times speaking at big conferences and being on podcasts and being able to engage in this way. But I truly think that 18-year-old version of me would be really excited
Yeah.
about what life looks and feels like today and sort of blown away by what's become possible through just continuing to lean into possibility.
So would you have any advice?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I would offer that younger version of myself and anyone is to, take the time to stay curious and open to what's alive within you,
Yeah.
moment to moment, but in a broader sense. Learn to be with yourself. Like, learn to be with yourself in all the facets of your humanness, in the moments of sadness and grief and fear, but also in the moments of joy and reverence and yeah, excitedness, and to just really get to know what it is that makes your human experience um, special,
Yeah.
and to lean into those things and trust where it might take you, that it might take you somewhere pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. So that 60-second highlight reel, I want to go back to it. What are you
Yeah.
the happiest about? What are you the proudest of?
Um, so I have a 6-year-old daughter. As I mentioned, she was born just before the pandemic. And she, the other day, she was talking about play, and she said something about, um, how sometimes people forget how to play, like
Yeah.
they don't know how to play. And she said, "Mommy remembers how to play, though." It might have been actually my husband said, "Yeah, sometimes adults, when we get older, we forget how to play." And Ella said, "No, Mommy remembers how to play." And it was a special moment because there were many years where that wouldn't have been true.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been true that I had the capacity to just like drop my agenda, be in the moment, and be fully immersed with the life I'm in right here. Um, I get these little vignettes, that I experience in my day where it's a moment, and it often involves my daughter, my husband, or just me being in the environment that we're in here now in this beautiful house where it's sort of like, oh wow. It's such a beautiful existence to be able to be there in those moments, I guess. I think that's what I'm most proud of, is that I'm able to be present. I'm not chasing more, but it's almost the more I'm grateful and present for the moments that are here, the more possibility opens up for really exciting things I didn't even realize were possible for life.
For sure. So at the end of the day, when you look in that proverbial rearview mirror of your life, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that knows you in different capacities, that you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Hmm. Yeah, my perception is formed certainly by some of the feedback I get from others. Um, it's a deep question. What's
Yeah.
my perception of myself? I think it's someone who is fiercely committed to their growth and to living a life that feels true and real, and passionate about sharing with others the possibility um, that I've experienced come out of that way of being, come
Yeah.
out of that like fierce commitment to just embracing the ride of being a messy human on this earth, and
Yeah.
soaking up all the flavor and texture of that, and like experiencing for myself, oh, this is so good. I'm like, I'm in the pool, I'm in the water, in the cold water maybe, and I'm like, come in, people, this stuff is great.
Yeah.
I think that's my perception of myself, is someone who's really like personally committed to this path of conscious leadership, being present for life as it is, and being courageous and going towards and pulling the strings of that which is alive within me,
Yeah.
and like inviting folks along, um, who feel or resonate with that sense of possibility within themselves.
I love it. So that's the perfect place to go into the next question, which is if anybody's ready for the next step, they want the clarity, they want the coaching, any of the good work that you're doing, where's the best place to go?
Hmm. Yeah, on my website, I have a free 5-day experience called the Reset. So it's a daily, very short prompt that you receive by email. And these are everyday offers, an invitation to open your awareness to what's happening in the life as it is right now. Through your workday, even in the busiest days, you can do these things in 2 to 3 minutes a day and weave them right into your daily activities. So you can get that at www.arborvita.com/gift. And yeah,
Okay.
it's a neat way to get started with my work, and it's completely free to participate in.
Excellent. Well, I will put that link. I'll make it easy. I'll put it in the show notes. This has been absolutely wonderful. Rebecca, thank you for your story. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
You bet.